Hi everyone, it's Lisa here and welcome to another What's Up Wednesday. And today I'm working in my Dylusions journal and I am going to be using the Dylusions paint. I've actually been having a lot of fun playing with these paints. They're just really, I don't know, they just blend really well. I like the fact that they're a little bit more fluid. And I don't know, they're a little translucent, so you can do lots of fun things with them. So here I'm starting out and I'm trying to like work with the block technique. Now I saw Diane Reevely, she did this blocking technique. Now I don't have the little spongy things like she has, so I was like, you know what, I'm just going to use these little makeup wedges, which they work perfectly fine. You just don't get a perfect square just like you would with the little blending tools, but you know, I just tried to make it work. In the end, I'm going to totally change my thought process, but this is how I started out. So it was just making the block pattern and I'm just kind of gravitating from one color to the other, and I'm using the what is it? The lime, the fresh lime, the bubble gum, and I believe the other one is the turquoise. So I'm just painting those colors in little blocks, and then all of a sudden you're seeing like I'm just kind of feathering the colors into each other, and I'm kind of digging that a little bit, and then I'm like, you know, I'm just gonna go for it. So I just start literally just kind of pouncing color all over top of each other and just really blending the colors that I have there together. And you're like, my goodness, that's a hot mess, Lisa. And yeah, you're right, it is a hot mess. And I kind of thought about blocking this pattern out. So I had already in my head that I wanted to kind of have a pattern set aside. So I knew that most of that color wasn't going to be there. So I was going to put black paint over top, and that was going to like kind of bring it all together. So here you just see I have my kind of junk journal. I call this my trial journal. And I just have the leftover paint on those little makeup sponges, and I'm just going over those stencils in this little book and just trying to get rid of the excess paint. Now with this, I have a great background already started for another layout. So I'm just showing you how I did that. And yeah, so I just dried it, and now it's completely dry. And I'm coming in with a Stabilo pens. It's actually a Stabilo pencil, and it's a water-soluble pencil. Now you're going to see I kind of screw up. Nice part is because it's a water-soluble pencil, I can kind of erase those lines even with just a baby wipe or, you know, spray some water, and I can just kind of remove it. So that's why I use this Stabilo pencil, if you're kind of wondering. So even if you didn't have a black Stabilo pencil, you could use a black pencil crayon or like a watercolor pencil crayon. There's lots of things that you could use in place of something like that. Just anything that's water soluble, so you know, in case you make a mistake, you can definitely get rid of it. So you can see here I doodled in some flowers and I drew in a vase. Now a rough sketch of a vase, like there's no, you know, not really any technical form to drawing a vase. I mean, if you aren't, I kind of drew like an, I don't know, a curvy vase, if you want to call it that. And if you feel like you can't draw a curvy vase, then just draw a straight vase, or you know, however you can. Or if you can do like a little curved bottom at the top, you know, it's just kind of whatever you can do. So don't feel like just because I drew this kind of curvy-esque one that yours has to be like that. So then you can see I'm going over top with the Black Dylusions ink and paint, and I'm blacking everything out. So everything is going to be black except for the flowers and the vase. I'm not worried about the stems at this time because I can always come back and paint the stems in. I just really wanted to see where my flowers are going to be at this time. So I'm going to dry that, and as I'm drying it, I'm kind of going over top with some black paint in some areas where, you know, it was just a little lighter and you could see some of that color coming through. So I just did that. That's why I left that drying footage in here. And then I'm going to come in with a thin liner brush, and I am going to draw the stems of these flowers. Now, when you're drawing stems of flowers, you kind of want to take into consideration on the way the flowers are. Like you see, I have that one flower that's kind of hanging over the edge, so I'm just going to kind of make it swoop into the vase, if that makes sense. So I'm just doing that, and I'm again using the Dylusions paint. That's the, I think it's cut grass. And then I'm just coming over top with, this is the Fresh Lime Dylusions paint, and it's just going to add some highlights to those stems. So just doing that, going back and forth. And then I'm taking some of this white Dylusions paint, and I'm going to create a shadow for this vase. So when you're doing the shadow, you want it to be very blendy. So I'm taking my finger and just kind of wetting it every now and again, just so that I can blend out that color. Now here's the amazing thing I totally did not know. So when I did that white paint, you're going to see some of that black color leach through. Maybe that black wasn't 100% dried, but I really like how it kind of casts this purple shadow, and I'm totally fine with that. It just kind of added a little bit of something to that white paint and made it not a completely white shadow, and I really like that look. Now you see I'm taking that black Stabilo pencil, and I kind of drew in some lines on the vase just to kind of, you know, break up so you could signify where each one of those rims is. And when you're looking at light, you can kind of see, like, if there's a ridge on something, you can see that little bit of a shadow. So I'm doing that with the Stabilo pencil. And then on the edge of the vase, you're seeing me come in. This is a big brush. It's a Faber-Castell big brush is what they call it, and it's a permanent ink that's inside. It's actually India ink, but because I used paint, it gave me enough time to blend that black over into the side of the vase, because I want my light to be coming from the right side, and then it's going to cast the shadow on the left side of the vase, if that makes sense. So I did that, just did lots of blending, just kind of kept going over top in that one spot just to kind of blend it out the way I wanted to. Now here's where I made a boo-boo, but I wanted to show you anyway. So I was going to try and do some drips on these flowers, and I totally didn't like it. I think I used Anthraquinone Blue in a, it's in a fluid, high flow paint. And I went over top of that, and I just kind of drew in the lines because I wanted to define the flowers. When I sprayed that water on, it just looked like a hot mess. I did not like it at all. So I wiped it all off. Now, here's where it's one of those kind of happy accidents. Now, when I wiped it down, some of those stems kind of lost a little bit of that color. But I love it because it's kind of like you still see shadows and highlights on those flowers. It's like somebody shone a flashlight on top of these flowers. So you're not going to see all of the stems perfectly. You're going to see shadows on top of the stems from the flowers that are in front of it. And I think I kind of hit it by total accident, and I'm so excited about that. So here you see I'm coming in with some more big brush pens. This is a blue big brush pen, and I'm just trying to, you know, kind of signify some colors into these flowers. And then I'm going to come in with this black Stabilo pen and just kind of draw some lines around the outside of the little center of the flower. And then I'm just going to kind of flare that out a little bit. And you can see now I'm kind of creating depth into those flowers there. So you can see again, I'm just blending out a little bit. And now I'm taking, this is a white big brush pen, and I'm just adding some highlights to certain parts of the flowers, and you just can see I'm just blending it out, and that's just going to add a little bit more depth to those flowers. So those centers are going to really kind of look like they're sunk in, that there's a little bit more dimension there. And I'm going to go around, not all the flowers, you know, all the way around, just kind of wherever I feel like the light is going to hit it. And then I'm going to come again in with the black big brush pen and just blend out in the darker spots, so that way you kind of get that shadow look to it. And that's pretty much it for this whole page. I'm going to show you close-ups at the end. Thank you everybody for watching this quick little What's Up Wednesday, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!